Anyway, let's stop talking about my erectile dysfunction and start talking about the tier list. By the way, erectile dysfunction is what I call my mother-in-law. We are going to make a tier list about the best and shittiest places to live in Dark Souls 3, Archdragon Peak. It has the best view of any, and I mean any, of the areas in Dark Souls. I mean, how can you really go against living on top of a mountain? Now, that just means that if you have to go to Irithyll to work, then you'll probably have to commute, and the commute could be bad. Don't get me wrong, riding a dragon every day could probably be badass, but if you gotta go to the office and then back, so if you get a job around Archdragon Peak, I think it could be good. Okay, so chat is saying we'll have to eat snakes. I have heard that snakes are pretty good. I mean, it has a good view. Does it have a lot of other things? I don't think so. It does have a house. You can actually stay inside and not get drenched if there's bad weather. Let's put this at a C. No, a B. I'm gonna give it a B. It's a pretty good area. Second that we're going to go with, and this is a bad one, it's the kiln of the first flame. It's basically nothing but ash, and there's nothing to do there. What is there to do in kiln of the first flames? Hey, Black Brain, welcome. I love you too. And yes, I do have a very large dick. It's my chat. I mean, they just keep talking about my penis all the time. There's not even any enemy to hold you entertained. Now, granted, it's basically the end of the world, so that probably has some value to it. But I think the interesting aspects of this is not almost enough to get it into an E. It's a straight up F. Okay, Firelink Shrine. No, Firelink Shrine is a good one. Not only do you have like a house that you can live in, you can carve out your own little area as a, place to be, you also have tons of people there. One of those people are waifu. You have the Firekeeper. And if there's a Firekeeper there, that's almost an automatic one-up. And you even have an elevator that can take you all the way up to top of the building, and there's some pretty good views there as well. And you have a bonfire there. Easy access to any area. If you're the sociable type, I think this would be perfect for anybody. And you can collect a whole harem. Yeah, noob, you're right. It's a 10 out of 10. I guess that's an S. I was thinking, should it be an A? But no. You have a bonfire in the kiln, though. I know, but I still don't think. Listen, the bonfire in the kiln is the only reason why it's not a shit tier. Ashes of Ariandel. And so we are taking the entirety of it and judging it. This actually has some pretty good things going for it. You have waifu there as well. She's not a firekeeper, but if you befriend Freed, she's not only beautiful, but she's also quite badass. She could kick anybody's ass. So if you have borrowed some money, for example, from Patches and he comes back, he'll take one look at Freed and just nope out of there. So you have the chapel. You even have an artist who is making paintings, which I appreciate. I can actually talk to her about some artistic stuff. We also have the Crow Village, and sure, they have poo that is stuck to their asses, and that's a little disgusting, but it's pretty cold. And yeah, and there's a snowboarding hill. Exactly, Mr. Hanky. You know what? I want to put it on the S. Bare feet waifu with daddy issues attached. Why is that a bad thing? What about the flies? Oh yeah, it has a pest issue, doesn't it? Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's gonna bring it down a bit. It has a ton of wolves though, so you can pet them. I wouldn't want to live in the village because there's a lot of flies there. Let's go with an A. Oh, because the dad is right there. Right, okay, so, okay. It's not gonna bring it down to a B, but I can understand the issues of having your dad living in the basement. It's going to make me flirting with Freed a little hard. But we do have Viking drinking buddies, which is cool. And some of the, the badass knights. And we have, what's his face? The one who guards Freed? You know what I mean. He's also there, and he seems like a cool guy. He can be my best bud. It's going to be an A. It's decided, it's an A. Wilhelm, it's an A. Next up, Cemetery of Ash. Oh my god. I mean, it doesn't even have a building in it that you can hide in from the weather. It has a bonfire. It has a boss arena with Gundyr. Gundyr is kind of cool. I don't see any reason to call this anything other than F. It doesn't make me physically ill to be there. Is there anything that will bring this up to an E? I really can't think of it. That's why it's stuck on an F. All right, Dreg Heap. Now, the Dreg Heap is like a big garbage dump, but a lot of people live in garbage dumps. So it's possible. And here's the thing. Dreg Heap actually has a few areas that you can live in. It has like houses. And it has a lot of mercmen that you can, you know, I don't know how good it is to converse with mercmen, but sure, listen, it's a bit boring. Not directly bad. It also has a waifu. Sure, the waifu is very old and about to die, but she is, in many ways, an angel. And she sells you the split leaf. Let's go with a D. It's not quite E. Oh, it has Desert Pyromancer. Does that bring it up to a C, though? Yeah. Wait, wait, no. Desert Pyromancers. Dreg Heap. Do we have the other one? Yes, it is part of it. So, you know what? Dreg Heap gets a plus. That's just how it is. It's a literal hot babe. That's worth a C. Yeah, listen. I'm a simple man, okay? I see woman, I bump up the score. Ringed City. Ringed City is interesting here because it has a lot of houses, so we could probably live there. It has a woman as well. We love woman, and it's fairly beautiful, and it's a large city. It's a metropolitan area. Chat is very impressed by my honesty right now. And you also have a pet dragon and one witch, one shut-in saint or something. She's in that room, which is actually a quite nice room. It's definitely B. No, I definitely an A. If the Archdragon Peak is a B, then we are going to go with A. Without the woman there, we'll probably have to put it on a B. But we got a woman that's a +1. Go for it. The Untended Graves, which is basically the same as the Untended Graves. It's an F. It's dark even. It's basically a worse cemetery. Easy peasy. Let's get that out of the way. We have the High Wall of Lothric. Now, this one is fairly fascinating because it's a big area. You have loads of buildings that you could probably stay in. There's a few nice zombies there to keep you company. Not much in the way of women, though. Well, except for High Priestess Emma. If you're into gilfs, then yeah, here we go. I don't think I should put that up one. It does have a dancer. Dancer does have some ass. And let's assume that Dancer is free. Dancer is also one of those people that would crush you if she stepped on you. It's the ultimate step on me mommy. So I guess Resident Evil fans would be right at home there. We also got dogs. Petable dogs. The pus of man is a problem. It's still not a D. The question is it a C or is it a B? I want to definitely put it as a B. It doesn't have enough negative situations. Yeah, no, that's fine. The Consumed King's Garden. And there's a lot of pus of men. And there's a lot of toxic snails. And just toxins. And then you have this giant dragon screaming every day about his imaginary child, which may or may not be imaginary. We've all seen the videos from Lance McDonald, how the baby is supposed to look, which is just horrific. And we also have gay-ass Hawkwood. Well, I'm not gay, so that's not going to help me out, Navarian. I really think that is it a shit tier? It's either an F or a shit tier, because you would have to live. There's one building that you can kind of live in, but then you have to be relegated to that place forever. I wonder, do you think it smells? Let's just put it on F for now. It stinks and it has slugs. It's a shit tier. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be a garden, but you have noisy neighbors, slugs, and toxic waste spilled all over your garden. This is a shit tier. Moving along, Undead Settlement. Now, this is literally a settlement. This is where people live. So, there's a lot of people there. They have a nasty habit of burning people and then dragging them all the way to Aldrich so that Aldrich can feed on them. So you have to be religious. It's very important. If you're gonna live in the Undead Settlement, you have to be religious. There is also a giant tree that takes all of the pain from you, which is kind of great, actually. The big-ass tree, it takes all of the curses that you have accumulated and it sucks it out of you, which is a bonus. We also have the woman, and it has a chill pyrobro, and it has chill pyrobro, it has Irina, it has Sigurd, and it has Morn Knight. Igom. There we go. Igom. Yes, this is good. I really didn't expect this to be an A tier. Yeah, you know what? You have to be super religious. So we can't give it an S. You may risk getting fed to a giant slug man, but it's still an A. It also got Hodrick and the cult. I mean, say me more. I'm still gonna put this as an A tier. If you fit in, you fit in, you know? Then we have a Road of Sacrifices. That is including the swamp. There is not really any... There are some shelter to get, but there's not much in the way of housing. So that's already a problem. You do have a few NPCs. Apparently, you have magic Magic Bro is there, so that's nice. There's also a ton of crabs, so if you enjoy wildlife and if you enjoy seafood, then this is the place for you. If you're like a survivalist, if you're like one of those preppers, that's what they're called, right? That fears doomsday, then you might want to live there. And there's a potential woman in Anor. It seems like a place though that you would just travel through. It doesn't seem like a place where a lot of people would actually live. If you're there, then you're probably in one of those movies where you're a teenager that just tells her boyfriend or her girlfriend that, oh, one of these days I'm gonna make it out of this shithole of a town. I don't hate living there, which is important. So I don't want to give it an E. I feel like an E is not good enough. I think D is a good tier for the Road of Sacrifices. Barren Keep. Barren Keep is a toxic swamp where there are slugs, monsters with incredibly bad breath, and a group of dead mushrooms. The last of the mushrooms, their entire civilization is just dead in the corner there. I mean, it's sad. So I don't like that. We do have Sif's cousin, and we do have that tower, which is something. But basically, most of that area is trash. Even if we do have a tower we can live in. It's got a demon up top. If you stay away, it's pretty nice, but it's a bit shit, isn't it? Any place, any swamp is probably a bit shit. Up is a demon, down is a poison. Yeah, no, it's shit. We're putting at that shit here. Cathedral of the Deep. Again, you need to be religious if you go there. It's basically a cloister? Is that what it's called? So you have the cathedral, you have the chapels. You do have places that you can live. There's some parasites there though. If you get touched by one of those worms, you'll get worms yourself that'll suck your blood out. So you have to keep, medicine close to you at every single hour of the day. It has a patches, which is good. It has a Kirk. It does have Rosaria. Well, that's gonna bump it up one, at least. With Rosaria, I'm sorry. Rosaria alone, that's not a D. That's not a C either. I wouldn't say A tier, but it's definitely a B tier. Fuck it, man. It's an A tier. I am not moving Archdragon Peak. It has a snake waifu. I am not that big a fan of snakes. If you love snake women, good for you. And you know what? If you were a man and you're gay, you would be able to enjoy the magnificent Ricard, alright? He's there. Oh, he's there. The Catacombs of Carthus. We don't have to worry about the weather. I'm a little worried about the smell though. Do you guys know how bad skeletons smell? I think it would be quite cold down there. Actually, I take that back. Because underneath, you'll have, the smoldering lake. So the heat rises. It would be pretty musty, though. It's got crabs, rats. Maxter says it's an S tier because it has a giant sex dungeon. I agree. It does have a ball of death. But you know what? It's kind of cool having a ball of death. It has a couple of balls of death. But you know what? Those skeletons that creates balls of death, they can probably create smaller balls of death. So you could race. I like that. I think it's going to be a C. A smoldering lake. Do you want to live in a maze? I don't think so. Do you want to live with a bunch of demons? Do you want to live in an area where there's a huge ass fucking snake? I don't think so. You have Tarkus, and you can also get a woman called Cuck, which I suppose is a little better. Oh, it's a worm. I'm sorry, Navarian. I'm sorry I'm assumed its species. It's lava front property. It's not good. I know it has Zorig, but I don't find that to be that great. I was going to put it on F, but because it has a cuckulous waifu, it's getting an E. Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. And here we are. If you're gonna live here, it's quite... I'm assuming that property prices would be really high, but let's assume that you can afford living there, right? It has a wonderful kitchen area. It has a wonderful art community. Have you seen the imagery of Guinevere? Well, you have certain... You could say that it's the only area that comes with pornographic material. That's big. That's pretty damn big. It has a huge cathedral. It has free soup. It has doggos. And it got waifu witches. I don't know how good they look, but we do have Anri that moves through. We do have secret spies that try to kill Anri. That doesn't really matter to us, does it? No. Oh, and you know what? It has dragon waifu. Dragon waifu stays there. Anri and Sirius, they are traveling through, right? But not Dragon Waifu. She's stuck in that tower, and she doesn't have any other men to talk to, which means you are by default her most interesting and sexy guy. S tier. I know some parts are dangerous, the sewers, and there are excrement-covered ashes there, but just don't go there. Yorshka is in Anor Londo. Yes. Oh, she's in Anor Londo. Oh, yeah, we're counting Anor Londo as something different then. Yes, we are. I can see that now. Well, it's an A tier then. Oh, you made Church of Yorshka its own thing. You know what? I see you made Church of Yorshka its own thing. I think it's basically the same. Most of the things I said, it could be considered a B tier if you have to live in the church. But even the church is a pretty good place to live in, and it has a bonfire. So yeah, it's fine. What we should talk about though is Anor Londo. Anor Londo is after the elevator, and we do have waifu, but there's not a lot of other places. If we live in Irithyll, we would get a ladder to get to her. Well, that's fair, but I feel like we can't take... Yorshka is such a powerful aspect of the area, so I think it would be unfair. We'll give Yorshka to Anor Londo. We won't put her in Irithyll. At first glance, Anor Londo seems pretty badass. It has a huge house, so you don't have to worry about the weather. You have access to waifu in Yorshka, and she would love you, by the way. But here's the thing. Aldrich is quite literally a sentient piece of shit. And I'm not saying that as some type of hyperbole. No, he's literally a sentient piece of shit. He smells like, oh, you wouldn't believe. So I don't think I can give it an S. Hell, I don't think I even can give it an A. I would have put it on C, because it still got a pretty nice view, and you could probably live up top, and you wouldn't have to worry about it that much. But nah, man. I can't. I'm gonna give it a B. You can just murder the sentient. Do you know how expensive the cleanup would be, noob? How much you would work? Anor Londo has Gwendolyn, S tier. That's not Gwendolyn. He's being consumed. You're a little late to the party. So that's where it goes. It goes a B. Listen, this is my list, okay? Don't make me fist fight you, you know? We'll have one of those 1920s fist fights, you know, where you're not allowed to protect yourself. You just have to stand there and take the hit like a man. Yeah, fisticuffs. Irithyll Dungeon has a lot of loud neighbors. I suppose everybody remembers, right? That time you guys picked up the item on the undead people and they screamed. Well, imagine having to live with that. That's pretty bad. Now, here's the thing. The dungeon has Carla. That's a pretty good waifu. And if you are into big titty goth girlfriend, or at least goth girlfriend, I don't actually know her titty size. I'm sorry. We gotta give Irithyll a +1. It also has a few maggot things crawling around there. And it has the jailers, and they probably want to mark you, which is... yeah. And it's probably a little stinky as well. Yes. Thank you, Navarian. Yorshka is my waifu. She goes to A. Okay. Since you paid me 1,000, I'll move her up to A. But you'll have... If I were there, I would have to live with Yorshka in that tower. And you know what? There is a bonfire close by, so it wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. Irithyll could be considered a sex dungeon, but according to my chat here, it's a mediocre sex dungeon. I'm gonna give it an E. It's not quite shit. No, it has Carla, so it's a plus. It's a +1, so it's a D. Sigurd would be in the profane capital. Yeah, that's what I would put him. And speaking of the profane capital, that's where we go now. You don't have to worry about the weather. And I think Yorm is a very cool guy. I could hang out with Yorm, and Sigurd is there as well, and we could be like best buddies. It would be like you, Yorm, and Sigurd, and that's almost like a, what's it called? A sitcom. Here is Yorm, here is Sigurd, one is a slob, one is a giant. I'm sorry. There are also the maidens. Yes, they are maidens. They are all women, and they're big. There's a lot of women. We don't know if they would touch you, but it's worth a try. You also have the poisonous area, though. I wouldn't count the maidens, though, as waifus important. Imagine the money saved on not having to pay for eating. Yes. It does have those weird hand monsters, but you can just stay away from that aspect of it. The place is covered in treasure. That's not treasure. That is dead people. That is the burnt flesh. Oh, have you ever smelled burnt flesh? That's treasure. Well, you and me, we have different definitions of treasure, okay? I'm gonna put it at C. The more I'm talking, the more I want to put it on a C. Next up is the Lothric Castle. Lothric Castle, again, is a very central area. You don't have to go very far to get to any sort of amenities. You have a large inside area, and it's quite beautiful, and it's quite clean. You have security in the form of knights there, and it even has like an area with a fireplace. There is no fire in the fireplace. The bonfire is actually not in the fireplace, it's somewhere else. Weird, but it's a good place. We don't have too much in the way of waifus here. We could summon Ceres. that's neat. And Igon, it's close to the Gilf, but I still think it's a B. There's no permanent waifu. I don't know how you guys can keep pushing for that. If you don't have a sense of smell, then you could probably bump up every single one of these areas at least 1 point, alright? And monsters would be good for one thing, if you get me. Yes, they could masturbate my huge penis. Or, no, well, that's not how that word works, is it? You know what I mean. By the way, are we unkindled if we buy the property? Yeah, I assume we are all unkindled, and I assume that we can afford the properties here. As I said, I think it's gonna be a B. The last one on our list is the Grand Archives, and wow, the Grand Archives has some really cool people in the form of the Twin Princes. Now, granted, Lorien's a mute, but Lothric, he likes to talk. It kind of has a waifu. It has Magic Waifu, and Black Hand Man, and Lion Knight Albert. Is that his name? I believe that to be his name. Is it Albert? Alphonse? Is it Greg? I don't know, but it has a lot of very scientific research material, which I believe is true, but I'm also sure, Pingu, that the Grand Archives has a lot of smut. You know, scientists are some of the most perverse people on Earth, and they need their porn. And so you'll probably be able to find that. And you'll be able to find tons and tons of interesting reading material. And you don't have to worry about the weather. And you can play with all of that wax. That's a plus in my book. Lothric is very depressed, though. That's true. I want to say that the mage is a waifu. So that's a +1. And because we don't have to worry about the weather. Oh my god! I have another reason for Ariandel. I heard that Scarlett Johansson lives there. Nice. I like Scarlett Johansson too, if you know what I mean. And by mean, I mean masturbate. Yes, Ariandel is an A tier. We moved it there. Grand Archives. Question. Is it an S tier? I want to say it's an S tier. And one of the great things about this, it has a lot of elevators. You don't have to walk up all of these stairs. Grand Archives is a very livable place. I agree. So it's an S tier. Then comes the question, where would I like to live? For me personally, it's between Ariandel, Firelink Shrine, and the Grand Archives. And I think that because it has so many people, I'm a very social person, I would be living in Firelink Shrine. But now I'm curious, what do the rest of you guys say? Wasn't that a really YouTuber move? The way I just transitioned? Yeah, I'm supposed to say, hey, leave a comment and everything. But you know what? We can actually have a good comment section right now. Just tell me down in the comments on YouTube, where would you want to live? Anyways, I'm not gonna... There's no more value in this video, alright? I'm not gonna edit any of this. So, right now, you're just wasting time watching this video. I'm just talking to my chat. You can't even see my chat. They're all saying, by the way, that I have huge dicks. I got multiple penises. Yeah,